Hello and welcome to JSB Talks Digital, the podcast for marketers, digital transformation champions, and those of you bringing your skills into the digital age. I'm Joanne Sweeney-Burke and this podcast is brought to you by Digital Training Institute. In this episode, number 104, I bring you behind the scenes of Ireland's very first public sector digital marketing summit, which I organised in Dublin's Round Room at the Mansion House. Also coming up in today's show, in social media news, introducing IGTV. Facebook introduces a paid subscription model for groups, and Twitter launches Twitter Media, a new home for publishers. I interview Sharon Campbell, Deputy Head of Communications at Trinity College Dublin. She was one of my speakers at the summit. In Shoutouts, 3 reasons to take my new Diploma in Digital Communications for Public Sector. Instead of Ask JSB this week, I take you behind the scenes of the summit and hear from some of the voices. In JSB's column, you get to come on stage with me at the Mansion House, where I talk about why trust is the number one currency in the digital age, and find out what social media tool saved my summit.
Social media news.
Instagram has launched IGTV, a platform which allows videos up to 1 hour in length, up from the previous 1 minute limit. Now a community of 1 billion people, the social network is really making a statement to YouTube. But this is the first time that we will have long-form vertical video. Are we ready for it? Well, the co-founder of Instagram, speaking at the launch, said, IGTV is different in a few ways. First, it's built for how you actually use your phone, so videos are full screen and vertical. Also, unlike on Instagram, videos aren't limited to 1 minute. Instead, each video can be up to 1 hour long. Kevin Systrom says, we've made it simple too. Just like turning on the TV, IGTV starts playing as soon as you open the app. You don't have to search to start watching content from people you already follow on Instagram and others you might like based on your interests. Instead, you can swipe up to discover more. Switch between For You, Following, Popular, and Continue Watching. You can also like, comment, and send videos to friends in direct. So what do you think? Will you use IGTV? Let me know at JSB Grams. Well, have you heard about the latest in Facebook groups? Facebook is introducing a paid subscription feature for group admins, so we can charge for exclusive content. The feature is currently being tested across select groups in different markets. Facebook has started letting select group admins set up a paid subscription for access to special subgroup content that it offers to subscribers. Subscriptions can go from $4.99 up to $29.99 per month. This is a very interesting development from Facebook. Entrepreneurs have and are already charging for group access, so it seems Facebook is making its way into this market. Twitter has launched Twitter Media, a new home for publishers on the platform. In a blog post, Twitter say, Twitter Media, a new website for publishers to learn how to get the most out of Twitter. It allows us to scale our team's work by giving content publishers a resource that's both inspirational and practical. Its core features include best practices from the most successful content publishers across Twitter, curated by Twitter's news, sports, and entertainment partnership teams, the latest information about new products and features designed specifically for content publishers, and an easy-to-navigate help section creating answers to the most common questions Twitter gets from content publishers every day. Another interesting move by Twitter, but let's see if it flies.
Interview.
In this episode, we go into the green room at the Round Room in the Mansion House, where the Public Sector Digital Marketing Summit team interviewed Sharon Campbell from Trinity College Dublin. Sharon is the Deputy Head of Communications at TCD, and she is responsible for #TrinityIsSocial. Not only is it a trending hashtag, but it's also turned into a series of live events and also the scaling of social media right across one of Ireland's most famous educational institutions.
JSB talks digital.
Social media is very important to Trinity. It allows us to reach into audiences that we wouldn't typically be able to access through traditional media. I suppose particularly our prospective students globally and domestically. Ireland is very well known for having a very strong social media activity among its young people, but also growing within the older age groups as well. And I suppose to share the great stories from Trinity about the Trinity experience and the education, but also to share our brilliant stories about our research and the great things that Trinity is doing and being able to impact Irish society and make an impact globally as well. What I was talking today was about how in Trinity, a large organisation, we bring our people working on social media together and how we support them. We would have well over 100 accounts of which people in all different areas and of different skills would be running them. So we make sure that we give them guidance and support when needed, or if there's a crisis or if an issue that they need to deal with, or even just questioning whether they need an account or not. And how to run it, but also, across how to represent the university and how, that it's Trinity, very particular that people don't bring their, I suppose, personal lives to it, and that's always, when you're representing an organisation, that's what is there at the base of it. A tip or a piece of advice I'd give colleagues in the public sector about social or digital transformation is to take that risk, believe in yourself, try things. It's very important. They say that the 70-30 rule is 70% sharing interesting and helpful information and 30% your little bit of marketing and information about yourself. But people talk about the 80-20-10, where the 10% should be your taking risk or experimenting, and that's very important. Things won't always work, and you have to try them to give them a go, but then you will find that nugget that really does work for you and brings great benefits. So I suppose it would be that, get a feel for your gut and go with it, take that risk.
Shoutouts.
In this part of the show, I give shoutouts to brands, organisations or individuals whose work online is remarkable and worth talking about. In this episode, I'm giving shoutouts to my new Diploma in Digital Communications for Public Sector and 3 reasons why you need to enrol if you work in any area of communications in a government body or a public sector agency.
1.
This programme has been designed especially for public sector marketing pros. I've been working alongside you and your peers for many years, and I believed I could and should step in and fill the knowledge void. For almost a decade, there's been a cap on recruitment in the public sector in Ireland. Training and continuing professional development has suffered in the recession. Those of you that needed to upskill in the digital age, well, that's been a little bit slower than people like me in the private sector. But I want to share my wealth of knowledge and experience with you. Over the course of 1 year, I can bring you from zero to hero when it comes to digital marketing and digital communications for your organisation. And trust me, there's nothing quite like it on the market right now.
2.
Often my clients only get to engage with me for a day, perhaps 2, or if they're lucky, perhaps over the course of a 6-week project. But by enrolling in the Diploma, you get to benefit from my insights and wealth of knowledge for an entire year. This learning will be far greater than simply a one-day tactical workshop. So, if you want to work directly with JSB for 1 year, then you gotta enrol.
3,
The Diploma in Digital Communications in Public Sector is accredited in 22 countries worldwide, giving you international recognition for your investment in your learning. There are lots more benefits also, so if you want to read all about them or to download the Diploma brochure, log on to publicsectormarketingpros.com/diploma. I'm mixing things up a little bit this week. So instead of Ask JSB, I'm giving you an aural sense of the summit in this mashup prepared by Owen. I hope you enjoy it. And if you're already feeling FOMO, don't worry, you can register for next year's event at publicsectormarketingpros.com/2019-summit.
JSB Talks Digital.
Hello and welcome to the Round Room here in the Mansion House in Dublin city centre. The day has finally arrived. It's Ireland's first public sector digital marketing summit. A vision about 12 months ago is now a reality, and you'll see the room behind me. People are just coming in. These are people that are changing the world one digital message at a time. It's a stage that's never been given to them before, but I decided that I should step into that void and to give it to them. And if we just turn around here, you'll absolutely see that the stage is set. It's very exciting. I will admit I'm a little bit anxious and nervous, but the day that you don't get nervous is the day that you got to hang up your red boots. So make sure that you follow the hashtag on Twitter and on Instagram. It's Public Sector DMS, and give all the great public sector people here some support and big shout outs. And if you've got a question for any of the speakers, or indeed for me, you can use the hashtag AskJSB. But for me, for now, until later, stay tuned from the Round Room.
Michelle McCann from the NTA. I represent the Transport for Ireland brand. I've found the speakers very interesting today. I've learned a lot about social media and the importance of having a strategy. In particular, Andrew McLinden's talk on the Garda Twitter account and so on was really interesting, and picked up some ideas on how to increase engagement and interesting my with social media. So I'm looking forward to hearing the rest of the speakers.
My name is Dawn Lonergan and I work at the National Standards Authority of Ireland. What I really liked learning about today was how Irish Braille really took the snow and turned it into something that helped them get more and more engagement online, and I think that was just genius.
Hi, my name's Katrina Boyle. I'm from Teagasc. I'm really enjoying today's event. One of the key takeaways that I've had from today's event is to look at how our audience is engaging with you, and if your content is not engaging, if it's not engaging content for your audience, then you need to take notice and develop your content based on that and see what's working and what's not.
So it's the mid-morning break here at the Public Sector Digital Marketing Summit. Come with me. It's been an amazing morning. We heard from Andrew McLinden from An Garda Síochána, Kirsten Connolly from the HSE, Sharon Campbell, Trinity College Dublin, Barry Kenny from Irish Rail, and Cleona Connolly from the EPP group. We have 150 people in the amazing Round Room. It's absolutely fantastic. The branding and everything has worked out amazingly. I think the message from this morning is we do have a voice. What we have to say is really important. Public interest messaging matters because it matters because we as citizens, we are the receivers of that information. And indeed the public sector, those people that mind our children, that mind us when we're in the health service, these people are going to work because, as Kirsten Connolly says from the HSE, when the chips are down, she reminds herself that her work matters, and I think we have to appreciate it. So we're all talking about digital transformation, how the public sector are engaging with it, and we're going to get some feedback from the delegates. So we've just had Trinity Bells, the amazing a cappella female group, and they provided us with some mid-morning entertainment. So you can see people are having tea and coffee, they're networking, and I think having a really good time. This is the first time that a stage has been given to public sector communications professionals. It's Ireland's first public sector digital marketing summit, but I can tell you already it definitely won't be the last. We were trending in Ireland by 9 a.m. this morning. So if you want to continue the conversation with us and everybody in the room, make sure that you follow #public sector MS. Time to go.
JSB Talks Digital.
Don't forget, you can register for the Public Sector Digital Marketing Summit 2019 right now. If you sign up, you'll be the first to hear about early bird rates and speakers. So log on to publicsectormarketingpros.com/2019-summit.
JSB's column.
In today's JSB's column, I bring you on stage with me at the Public Sector Digital Marketing Summit. In my opening keynote, I wanted to set the tone for the day. I outlined why I organised such a massive event in just 12 weeks, taking a big risk and asking people in the public sector to put their faith in me. And they did put their faith in JSB. Not only was it a sellout, but we actually oversubscribed on the day. I also outlined why trust is the #1 currency in the digital age and why public sector marketing professionals need to defend the truth in the era of fake news.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Public Sector Digital Marketing Summit. Here is your host and MC, Joanne Sweeney Burke.
What do David Bailey, Alex Aiken, Mark Zuckerberg and Tom Cochrane have in common? They've all been defending the truth in the era of fake news, and these are 4 men that I've spoken to in the last 6 weeks. I might be stretching the truth a little bit by saying that I spoke to Mark Zuckerberg, but I happened to be in Brussels the day that he was defending Facebook and the Cambridge Analytica scandal. Tom Cochrane. Tom was the digital transformation manager with the Obama administration. Alex Aiken is the Director of Communications with the UK government. He told me about when the UK government bombed Syria and how they defended it and how they got the Prime Minister on YouTube to try and overcome the fake news and the vitriol that was happening against the government. David Bailey is a police constable in the UK. He is responsible for developing an internal academy among the Metropolitan Police. All of these people understand and recognise that the voice of their people, people like you in this room, deserve a voice. The balance of power in the world has shifted. That's a broader conversation, you might argue, for another day. But in terms of digital communications for the public sector, you need to understand, and perhaps you understand already, that the balance of power has shifted. State, church, politics, big business. That power has now been transferred into the hands of citizens. Citizens' voices are louder than ever before. They are using social media to give feedback, to complain, to demand transparency and trust. We are living through the 4th industrial revolution. The phone that I have in my hand contains 250,000 patents. The democratisation of the internet, the free availability of Wi-Fi and the smartphone have changed the world.
Google are saying that we are only 1% of the way into the total digital transformation that we are going to face in our lifetime. When it comes to trust and transparency, this is the #1 currency in the digital age. This is what we need to think about in terms of delivery of a message online. It's kind of irrelevant what channel that you use. People get absolutely obsessed with vanity metrics, with the tactics in relation to channels, but they're missing the big points. Every single speaker that I have invited onto this stage today was chosen particularly for their topic. So I would encourage you and invite you to study the agenda and have a real think about what they're saying and why they're saying it. My name is Joanne Sweeney Burke, and you are welcome to Ireland's first public sector digital marketing summit. Where did it all come from? 3 years ago, my first speaker launched my book, and it's not a plug for the book, they're nearly all sold out. And that book, Social Media Under Investigation, Law Enforcement and the Social Web, brought me across the world engaging with police forces. And a good digital marketer understands that you need to get your niche right? And I grew up in Donegal, and my first job was as a broadcast journalist. And I worked for Highland Radio. And at that time, the Morris Tribunal had been launched, a public inquiry into allegations of wrongdoing against certain members in the Donegal division. For 2 months, that tribunal came to Donegal. Very often, I was the lone journalist covering it live, very complex information, making sure that I got the facts right and the truth out. The skills of journalism have stood to me to this day. Check and double check and verify, verify, verify. These are the skills that I use. Unfortunately, not everybody in social media verifies and checks and double checks. 2016 was the year that fake news got listed in the Oxford Dictionary. Donald Trump claims that he created the word. Propaganda, defamation, slander, all of these things, they've always existed. However, the problem is exacerbated in the digital age. I truly believe that your role and your responsibility and your truths need to rise to the top. We were pitching the media to come and cover this event, and we do have some media in the room, and we've got a very interesting news and media panel later. But the feedback was very interesting. We're not interested in the public sector. That's not a news story. But I'm going to change that, because what you have to say is a news story. Defending yourself in the media every day is not just your news story. There are people working in Ireland's public sector, about 300,000 of you, who were watching my child. My son Bobby is 8. He's in school in Galway now, and I know he's been looked after by teachers trained and employed by the Department of Education. I've had my children in hospitals in Letterkenny. I was looked after. The Pope was coming to Ireland in August. When Pope John Paul came to Ireland on the 29th of September 1979, I ended up in Sligo Hospital after being burned by black tea. We all know as citizens of this state that when we need the public sector, they look after us. So why is it that we continue to put public sector individuals down and you don't defend your truth? You now have a right of response. It's called social media, it's called digital communications. You now have an opportunity to defend your truth and to show trust and transparency to the people that you represent. Public interest messaging is important. Business messages are important. Hey, I'm an entrepreneur. And why is a business person standing up here and stepping into the void? You know, you could call me an opportunist, but if you look back at my career and what I've done, when I did my master's in journalism and I spent a night shift with Garda Síochána in Letterkenny, and a lady in Old Town, 82 years of age, was broken into, and I found myself in her house with her, living on her own, and a burglar, and these guards. I knew they had her back and they had my back. You have the people's back, but that story never gets through because guess what? Who's interested? You have to get the courage, the confidence and the resolve to step up. The technology is easy to use. Hell, my 8-year-old thinks my YouTube channel needs a whole redesign. So I'm going to bring him in during the summer holidays to help me do that. You must not be scared of the technology. I deliberately targeted, and that's a terrible word, but it's the truth, marketing and communications professionals. Because you understand public interest messaging. You understand what matters to your organisation. You understand how to verify and fact check. And you understand how to communicate. You are the right people in this room, and you are the right people to lead digital transformation in your organisations. You don't need permission. If you came here for permission, I'm giving you the permission. I want to finally just say that when public sector organisations are faced with defending themselves in mainstream media or indeed in online channels, start thinking about your truth. There's a lady in this room called Bernadette Flanagan from the Presentation Sisters Union, and I had the pleasure of working with Bernadette and all her sisters about 18 months ago. And I stood at the front of the room in a hotel in Athlone, and Bernadette won't mind me saying this, it was predominantly female, yes, and the age profile was predominantly an older audience. There was 200 sisters in that room because they understood that their truth mattered and that they needed to digitise and put their truth out to live forever. And they're doing it on social, on digital, their website, they're blogging, they're doing email marketing. So if you want any tips, go to Bernadette in the centre of the room. You all have a responsibility to represent and defend yourself. The stage is not for me today. The stage are for my remarkable lineup of speakers who have come to give their time. And please tweet. It's very important that you tweet. Make sure you use the hashtag #PublicSectorDMS. Also, some of you may know the Ask JSB feature. If you ever have any questions, I will answer them online or on my podcast. But if you have a question for the speakers, I would appeal to you to put that question along with the hashtag Ask JSB. You can DM the account if you want. Our social media team are at the top 2 tables, and we'll try and get your questions answered throughout the day. And LinkedIn have a new feature, and if you listen to my podcast, you should know this already. It's called Nearby. So this is what you do. If you open up your LinkedIn profile, and you go to My Network, which is at the bottom navigation, and then you tap Nearby, which is at the top, and you enable it, everybody in this room will come up, and then we can all connect and share with each other, because you're all like-minded individuals, and it would be nice if you do that. So if you forget that, maybe one of the team would photograph and tweet this out, please, and use the hashtag. That would be really good, because I'm going to change the slide. So throughout the day, I'm going to, if you don't learn from the speakers, you don't learn from me, I'm going to give you a JSB tip and a tweet. And the first one is, by 10 a.m. in the morning, there are 1 billion searches on Google. So what did you search this morning? So throughout the day, I'll give you lots of JSB tips and a tweet.
Social media tool of the week.
The social media tool that saved my working week and my summit is Nearby from LinkedIn. At the summit, I asked people to turn on the Nearby feature on the LinkedIn app on the phone so we could all connect with each other. We could do it because we were all in the same room. This will only work when everyone is actually on their phones and has the LinkedIn app open. Find Nearby uses your device's Bluetooth to work and scan the people around you. Of course, all users need to have the feature activated to be discoverable. Once activated, you can choose to let people nearby discover you for the next 1 to 3 days or forever, which in LinkedIn terms means weekdays from 9 a.m. to 5 a.m. But I can tell you that the feature worked brilliantly at the summit, and it allowed everybody in the room immediately to find out who was there. Thank you so much for tuning in to episode number 104 of JSB Talks Digital. This was a show with a difference, bringing you behind Ireland's first public sector digital marketing summit, which me and my team have put so much work into over the past 12 weeks. I'm delighted to announce on the podcast that the summit is going on the road, and we're bringing it to Brussels in the autumn, a date to be announced. I am on a mission to help public sector marketing pros bring their skills into the digital age. You could say that it all started with this podcast exactly 2 years ago, because this is episode number 104. That means it's exactly 2 years of JSB Talks Digital. And if you're interested in my diploma in digital communications for public sector, make sure you go on and inform yourself about all the modules and how it works. You'll find out more at publicsectormarketingpros.com/diploma. As always, I have everything discussed on today's show on my award-winning blog over at digitaltraining.ie. Please keep in touch. You can tweet me to @tweets by JSB, post a comment on our Facebook page, Digital Training Institute. We've also set a new one up for public sector marketing pros. Please send me a snap to JSB Snaps and let me know what you think about IGTV over on Instagram. I'm JSB Grams. Thanks for tuning in. I am Joanne Sweeney Burke. This is JSB Talks Digital. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you soon.
JSB Talks Digital.